Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we are going to be doing an in-depth tour of our 42-foot Catalina. We're going to start on deck and then we're going to take you below deck and we're going to walk you through everything on this boat, how we've chosen to organize it, what we like, and how it's worked for us, especially since we've sailed for 2,600 plus nautical miles for 25 plus days sailing from California to Hawaii.
So we're going to start with our head sail here. We have a little bit different of a setup than most. We have a self-tacking system that came with the boat when we bought it. So this system, obviously it's self-tacking, which is nice. It's a pro. It makes tacking super easy. So whenever we turn into the wind and change tacks, this is just on a gimbaled system. It just slides right over, which makes tacking a breeze. And it's on the rolling furler, so it makes it easy because you can just pull out the jib sheet, which pulls out the sail. And if the wind picks up and we want less sail out, super easy to just take in a little bit of sail and have a smaller head sail. Some cons of the self-tacking system is that because it's self-tacking, the furthest the sail can go is straight to the mast. You can't go past it, therefore it limits our sail area, and especially if there's light wind, we have less sail area out. Another con is because of the only one attachment point here for the clew of the sail, we can't adjust the shape as much of the sail. Fortunately, the jib has been cut for this system, but there's just a little less adjustments that we can make as we're sailing. The next item on our list is our mast and boom setup. We have a keel step mast, which means it goes all the way down to the keel as its anchor point instead of the deck. Con of that is we do have a little bit of leaking around where the mast goes through the deck, so that's something that we have to address, and just a little bit of maintenance on that. Our mast has this extra track on it because of our in-boom furler. So the in-boom furler has pros and cons. Obviously it's nice, compact, easy for storing. Also, you can take as many reefs as you need to, and you can put those reefs anywhere you want to. So that's a super easy convenience. As far as raising and lowering the sail, it's a little bit slower because you have to unwind and rewind it back in on itself. As far as the stack pack goes, you can just drop it and everything just folds in place. Or raising it, you can just raise and lower that sail a lot easier and quicker if it's just in a stack pack, where this you have to wind everything back up. But it is nice, it is compact, and it does save us on canvas as well. Another pro that we like about the in-boom furler rather than the in-mast furler, if in emergency you need to drop sail, we are able to do that. Even without winding it in, we could at least drop it if we needed to quickly in an emergency, so that's a plus. Or if the furling system got stuck or broke, we can still take down sail. So that's a pro for the in-boom system rather than an in-mast system. Also, we can have battens in the sail as well, which helps create our sail shape and keep everything tight and have a little bit less of a belly, especially going upwind. So we like having the battens and a little bit more sail area. Another pro about this boat that we enjoy is all the lines run to the cockpit, making reefing and sail adjustment, all that super easy and quick and safe to do because all the lines run to the cockpit. So all the winch and everything is super easy to do, especially in rough weather. Also, there's not a lot of wood on this boat, which we also like just for ease of maintenance. I think we got two little pieces here by the companionway and the table at the helm and a couple in the cockpit, but for the majority, there's not a lot of wood out here on deck exposed to the elements. So another thing we enjoy is the large cockpit area. We have a nice hard Dodger and Bimini with the little attachment there in the middle, which we take off when we're sailing, but when we're here at the dock, it provides plenty of shade, which we enjoy. As far as sailing with this cockpit, it's got a lot of space. You can lay on either side of these or on the floor, which was a popular spot when we were underway. But plenty of room for people to sit and hang out. Large helm here, which we enjoy. It makes steering a lot easier. Easy access of the instruments, as well as this little handle here makes it super nice while underway. Gives you a place to grab. Another thing that we enjoy is the sugar scoop here off the back. It makes it super easy to get on and off the boat. Also, if you're swimming with the ladder, it makes it super easy to get on and off. And it's super wide. It's a lot wider than most, so we enjoy that. We don't have a good spot for whenever we catch a fish and we want to gut it and fillet it. We don't really have a good spot for that yet. We're still trying to figure that out. On the crossing, when we caught a Dorado, we just ended up doing it right here in this back bench seating area, just because it was the closest spot to the end of the boat, so we could just spray everything down. So this is where we ended up installing our Starlink with this little fishing rod holder and our iridium antenna, so that has worked out well for us.
So on the crossing we did have issues with battery management, and it would have been really great to have more solar panels, and it would be really great in the future to add a bunch of different things off of a like master arch. So we could have a solar on the top, we could also have dinghy davits, and we would just really be able to use and function off of more of like a superstructure on the back of this boat. So that is something that we definitely would like to add in the future with this boat that it doesn't have. In terms of our instruments, we have a Raymarine depth sounder, we have the Raymarine charts, and then we also have a Raymarine autopilot. And the autopilot and all of those different things works really great for us. So we really have enjoyed Raymarine. We don't really have a preference of Raymarine or Garmin, but this has worked really great for us, and we did enjoy it on the crossing. One of the things that we do love and a luxury that came with this boat is this electric winch. You can also obviously do it by hand, but then you can also press the button and use the electric winch, which is really great. But one of the really great things on the crossing that we had is this really awesome companionway. It's super wide, super big. The door can be left open. You have 3 slots to close it. But one of the nice things is that you can stand here and you can actually wedge yourself in as you're wenching, which is really great. So we do love this companionway. You can do it also for the jib. It's really easy to get your foot up, and especially when the boat's rocking and rolling, you can really hold on and grab the companionway and wedge your foot up here. I did this a ton on the crossing, and it was a really great feature that I didn't really think about when we went to buy the boat. So the companionway from inside has 2 handholds, which is really great. But what is really helpful is that this is really low and it's not that steep of a walk down. It's really easy to get right from the living space right into the cockpit, and it actually operates as our engine housing, which is really usable space. So you just unlatch and pull down, and this is our Yanmar 42 horsepower engine. So a lot of you that have been following us for a little bit know that our previous boat had a Seas diesel engine. We took it out ourselves and replaced it with an electric motor and a lithium battery bank. So now that you're seeing this boat, you're probably thinking, why did we switch from an electric boat to a diesel boat? And that is because we fell in love with this boat. It had a wonderful working diesel engine, and we have our lithium bank, so we can actually use diesel and lithium. In the future, we can also add like the solar power on the solar arch that we discussed, which will just give us more of a variety of the power that we have, as well as just utilizing the system that I had set up for a diesel engine. If any of you are familiar with Catalina boats and their layouts, a lot of them actually have one big main aft cabin in the back, and ours actually has 2. So this is one of the rooms, and there's an identical one on the other side. So we actually have a port and a starboard cabin. We love that port. Starboard. Star Wars. Okay. We actually have a port and a starboard cabin, which we actually truly love, and that is one of the main reasons that we did fall in love with this boat and the layout that it had. We love that because we can have one room for guests that's separate and can be very tidied and cleaned, and then we can also have one that is specifically for storage, because a lot of people have been telling us to get a storage unit, but we want to full-time cruise, and we have to have everything on our boat so that one day when we cruise, we have the tools that we need, we have the parts that we need, and we have like the safety gear that we need, and we don't have to try to go through a storage unit to try to get those things. So because of that and not having a storage unit, we utilize this one room as a storage room or like a large closet, and it doesn't interfere with spaces that we would have for guests. So with having 2 rooms, it's actually really nice because there are walls pretty much encompassing all of the bed portion of the room, which means that on passage we got really decent sleep because we were able to wedge ourselves up against the wall, and there was not just one big main bed where you could just get thrown off. Okay, so we are now in one of the cabins. This is the guest cabin. This is the one that we utilize when we have people over, or if we're gonna have crew. This is a great little spot for them. So we have a lot of our batteries under here, and that offsets the weight of the other room that has the storage as well as the tank. So we have 100 gallons of fresh water tanks on this boat, 40 gallons for like waste and those tanks. And then we also have 39 gallons for diesel fuel. So we try to distribute the weight with the closet and then all of the lithium and all of the heavy batteries down below. So in here, this is our guest room closet, and we have utilized this for lines and just life jackets. We have all of them in this bag and some extra little covers in our go bag. So I was really tempted to tidy all of this up, but we wanted to give a real life look at what a boat is organized and how it functions. This actually functions pretty well for us. We can grab the lines by just taking out our life jackets. And honestly, if you see a boat and someone doesn't have some little clutter, they're either lying or they're not living in it. But this is how we organize with our lines and our life jackets. And then above here, I actually have two baskets. They're the perfect height to kind of wedge below here. They do not move when we are heeled over on either tack. And they just are extra storage that just is provided just as this is a flat, kind of unusable space. But with the baskets, you can fit quite a bit of stuff in here. And it's definitely something that's wedged in here pretty well. So something that we love about this boat that is just something unique and different is this grate. So when you come down from the companionway and the stairs, there's actually a grate here that you can lift up, and it leads to this like basin. And if this fills with water, it'll actually flow right into the bilge. So you can come down in your foul weather gear, drip into here, and it'll just flow into the bilge if you had that much. One of you also left a comment saying that because this has the grate and the basin system, you could actually just take a broom or a sweep or mop setup and you could just brush the crumbs right through here. And then you can obviously take this up, take out this basin and just rinse it out and get rid of your crumbs. It's kind of like a little natural dustpan built into the boat. We have used it for all of the above. So this is our nav station. This is kind of our hub for our panel, our batteries. We have our frame TV here, which is really, really great. And then our nav station desk. This is actually a catch-all for all of our different things, pens, pencils, and just the things that we would use on an everyday basis, such as like a headlamp and our keys and all that, even some fishing lures. So if you have a nav desk below, is yours a catch-all? Because that is what, every time I try to get it organized, it just ends up being a catch-all because it's just a great spot to just kind of dump some things. So this is our panel. This is how we turn everything on and off. You've probably seen this: water pressure on, water pressure off. A lot of our items are on DC, and we just have the top, which is AC, which we really, really, truly love. We also have our battery monitor so that we can quickly monitor what our battery levels are at. It actually has a built-in alarm if it gets too low. I believe it goes off at 60%, which we definitely use on the crossing for battery management. We also have our little reader over here where we can see our volts and our amps when it's charging, if it's conditioning, all of those different things right there. And then we also have our radios. So we have a radio here that we can turn on. It's through B&G. And we also have one right here that you can just pop out, and you can take this into the cockpit and they go through each other, which is really great. That way you could utilize it in here, but also have one in the cockpit for whoever is at the helm. And this is just a really great area. I do really love this. One of the things I loved about this boat is this massive table. I feel like you can sit so many different people. It's got the U-shaped, but it's also got the other seating, which is great for a variety of reasons. When we get to the galley, I'll tell you about that. But this table is really awesome. The only thing in the future that I think we will eventually do is we'll get rid of this table and get one of those tables with like the hydraulic system so that you can push it down and turn this into a bed. It would just be an extra space that we could have for sleeping. It wouldn't be the best in terms of like on passage because you could kind of be rolling around, but it would definitely be a really great large space that we could sleep 1 or 2 people. If we do get rid of this table, we are going to lose one of the cool features this table has, which is massive storage down here. We have Seth's entire library collection of books all in this table. It's actually really, really deep and goes pretty wide, so we were able to stack a lot of books. So we would lose our little library, hidden library section. However, for right now, this is a perfect spot for books. It keeps them out of the way. And one day when you need to grab a book, you just pop it up and you can get your books down below. One of the things I loved about this boat is the kitchen when we saw it. It's really, really different. A lot of the kitchens are actually the U-shaped kitchens. This is an inline kitchen, and I feel like you don't see very many boats that have this. I do love how it is, just like when you're at anchor or you're docked, it's just very, very open and you don't have to go into like a little nook. On the passage, I wasn't really sure how it was gonna work. However, this has been a game changer. It's really great. A couple people mentioned handholds being an issue. This handhold isn't really in the best place. I don't really feel like that's great. However, because because of this seating in the living space, you can stand in front of the stove and there's handholds here and you can just kind of wedge yourself right here. I had zero issues on the crossing at all cooking in this kitchen, which I didn't think was going to be the case. There's also a handhold here, which is really great, and you can gimbal the stove and you can cook. You could hold on here, but for the most part I really just kind of wedged and kind of sat here, and this seat has made the game changer. I think an inline kitchen without this seat would be really challenging, but because of this seat it adds additional storage underneath, so for food storage, for provisioning. I also use it for like pots and pans. You have the handles, and then you also can access the kitchen. One of the things I also love about this kitchen that worked really great on the crossing is this band behind here. I did love this when we first saw the boat, and on the passage I just fell even more in love with it because we have all of the places that you can kind of squeeze your provisions in, so you can kind of squeeze cans and rice and all of the different things, as well as like pots and pans, and I have some of our pans over here, and it was just worked really great. Up here is something else that I would love to do in the future, adding a slat. We were sailing the other day and this Ninja blender went across the room. So this is not a great spot. I feel like something up there needs to be just really kind of tied down or bungeed, or eventually another slat so that we could put provisions. In here we just have extra storage for food, which is great. We utilize this whole kitchen with the exception of one tote in our storage room for provisions, and this worked really well. The fridge is really deep, so we were able to store a ton of food in here and get to it really easily. And then over here we have just our sink, water pressure, foot pump as well for this little guy if we need to utilize a foot pump and not like water pressure. I also love that we have a hatch up here. That way when we're cooking, you can just let the steam kind of go right out here. We did that on the crossing when we had like very low wind days. That way we just didn't even have to heat up the cabin. It's just a great little venting system. I'm sure all boats have that, but this is really big and it's given us an opportunity to just kind of vent our boat, and we have one on each side. However, there is one thing in this boat, like a venting system, that I haven't really been able to figure out. And if you understand what these are, let us know. I guess I know what they are. They're little solar fans, and they are powered by a disc on the top of our deck. However, on the crossing, these were really annoying. They don't really give that, I mean, they're not powerful. They're not going to really give like this massive ventilation into the boat like the hatch would. However, when you are taking on water or it's raining and pouring, these will spin during the sunlight hours and just spin water all over your boat. So we have 3 of them. We have 2 in this living area, and then we have 1 in the bathroom right here. They don't spin all the time, and then when they do, and if it's raining, we just get water spray. So I'll find some water on the table. I'll just also just find water just sprayed down the side of the wall in the bathroom. So kind of a weird system. I'm curious if any of you have dealt with these, what you think. And we also thought maybe of taking these out and putting in wind scoops, because wind scoops would definitely function more than these do and keep the water out, honestly. So let us know in the comments down below what you would recommend or any experience you've had with these. So this is our Pullman berth. When we first saw this boat, we weren't really sure how it was going to work. At first I thought, oh, this is great space, and then the more I looked at it, I thought, oh, it's actually kind of small. This works really great for us. This is a really decent size. I have no issues with the Pullman berth. We have storage up here. I eventually would probably again want to add maybe one of those slats, just something to hold things on. We have our hats here, but we can't really utilize this for anything else. The Pullman bed is actually 2 mattresses high because we took the mattress out of our aft cabin for the storage room, and it actually fit perfectly on top of this bed. So we almost have like Pullman sized beds around the boat, and this worked great. So we have actually a higher mattress here, which is kind of nice. Do love the Pullman. A lot of hatches. We have 2 hatches here. We have 2 hatches on the other wall. We have 2 hatches on the ceiling to go up to the deck. And this has just been a great system for us. I have no regrets at all with picking a boat with a Pullman. We also created a lee cloth, and the lee cloth actually goes up. We created this little attachment point over here, and we had to make the lee cloth before the crossing. So when the boat was in California, we made the lee cloth here in Hawaii, and then we brought it with us. So we have it attached to our mast because our mast is a keel step mast, so it goes all the way down through the boat. So the mast is right next to where I sleep, and the lee cloth will attach to that mast and then attach here too. So we have a few things we want to fine tune with it to just make sure that it works perfectly. But the lee cloth is really, really high and works really, really well for the most part. Once we make those tweaks, it'll work even better so that this bed functions just like our aft cabins and can hold you in when sailing on passage. And this is our forward head. So we have two heads. Aft head is a wet head, so you can shower in there. It's small, but it's a wonderful head. I love having two. I know when we were looking at boats, some people in the comments put like, what's the point of having two heads on your boat? I'll tell you what the point of having two heads on your boat, and the point is that it's amazing. I love having two heads. I utilize this bathroom solely for showering and using the sink to get ready in the morning, and it's just perfect for that. And then Seth and I use the aft head just for going to the bathroom. So we have one for showering and one for going to the bathroom. That setup might not be for everybody, but this is really great. I have my own little personal space to get ready. I do love that this head is really big. I feel like for a head, this is like a great size. We have a full shower back here. We don't have like doors or anything, so we just have this shower curtain that we put up with this rod, and then we have a toilet here if we needed it, and then just like this massive countertop over here and a countertop over here. It's just a really great system. I do like showering in here. It's just taking me getting used to because we have the shower sump. So we have this button that you just press, and that actually will turn on the sump, and that will take the water. So when you're showering, it's been taking me getting used to be showering and be aware of the floor and the water level so that I'm not throwing water down the rest of the boat. And lastly, as we wrap up this video, here is our little light. It's on a gimbal, which is really great. We used to have just like a normal lamp on our other boat that we'd have to tuck away every time. This is just a no-nonsense light. You turn it on when you need it. It's gimbaled. It doesn't go anywhere. It's perfect. So on that note, those are all of the little details that we have for our 42-foot Catalina. We love this boat so much. I have just fallen in love with all the features, especially after the passage, just seeing how this boat handles, how it can handle a high swell, and that it's comfortable. A lot of people feel like production boats are not comfortable at sea and they're just comfortable at anchor, but I am here to tell you that this boat was very comfortable at sea, and it's also very comfortable like at anchor and at dock. We've just really fallen in love with this boat. So if you have any questions or anything that I didn't cover, make sure you leave a comment down below, like this video, and subscribe so that you don't miss next week's video. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode. Special shout out to our patrons. You guys are awesome. Join us next week as we untie our lines and head to a remote anchorage. See ya!